Hey guys, good morning. It is 9 o'clock in the morning here in Mount Lake Terrace, Washington. How are you? How you doing out there? So I decided to make a decision. I'm forwarding the channel. No, anyway. The people was like, yay! No, I realized that I did like 10 videos about Turbo Turkey, and then I turned around and did the reflections thing. I'm not getting rid of the reflections idea. I still think it's cool to reflect, but I also realize it's becoming too like much of just me rambling about my life, which is fine. It's still interesting and has some fun stories and stuff. But I understand like 10 weeks of thing, and then let's do some more of this. So I thought I'd get back to doing a few things that more like reviewing things that I've seen recently, as opposed to this like quick I do this. So I thought I'd just pick something and then talk about it, my thoughts on it and stuff like that, and just kind of keep it reasonably 20 minutes, 30 minutes, most likely. Stuffy again. It's just every Friday I come home, it's like allergies or something. I don't know. It's something, the building I work in or something. Must be a lot of dust or something. So I'm just like, ah. But I'm drinking my emergency, guys, with this life water. Life water. For life. Anyway. Enough of that nonsense. So I thought I would talk about Miss Marvel, because I've completed the series now. So, forewarning of any spoilers, I will let you know if you care about that. So I thought I would talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about Moon Knight too, because I kind of briefly talked about it before, but I think it would be fun to talk about that too. We usually cover a lot of the Marvel stuff, like what we're saying and stuff. I think the only thing we haven't seen from Marvel was we didn't watch What If and we didn't watch The Eternals. So that's the only two things from Marvel we have not watched. I've been kind of like building myself up to try to watch The Eternals sometime, but I'm sure I will. It's on Disney Plus. Maybe I'll get some around to watching that and reviewing it, because I've heard it was okay, but it just I don't know. It was one of those times where I saw Marvel. Most of the times Marvel does a trailer and I'm like, even if the movie doesn't turn out to be great, like the trailer itself, like it was like, oh yeah, there's the right music, there's the right, there's some funny moments, there's some cool looking moments, so like usually it hooks me in. That was the first time with the Eternals trailer where I was just like, I don't really care. Can we just get the X-Men already? Or Fantastic Four, or get Daredevil, all that stuff. The characters I actually give a shit about. Anyway, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with the Eternals. I'll watch it and I'll give it a chance at some point. It's one of those things I just got. Sometimes you get, I have so many streaming stuff that like, I don't have every streaming network because it's just expensive, but it's the new cable, guys. Back in the day, for those of you who are young out there, it's the new cable. Now everyone's gonna have a streaming network. Get this streaming network if you want to see this shit. Get this streaming network. So it's like, there's Paramount Plus, there's Apple, there's Peacock, there's HBO Max, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, obviously, Disney Plus. It's like there's just so many out there. It's just like It's like basically I have Disney Plus for the Marvel stuff and a little bit Star Wars, because I did enjoy Obi-Wan, and I did So mostly that. It also has some old cartoons and stuff like that. Because overall, Disney Plus is probably the one I watched the least, although I have been watching it recently. Netflix I watch pretty good regularly. There's some show, I just can't think of what it's called, on here that I definitely watch on there, which is coming up in September. Woo! Season 5. And then, of course, Stranger Things, which was... I should do a review of that sometime, because that was really good, too. Those are probably, to me, my dad was recommending the Umbrella Academy, so I'm probably going to give that a shot soon, too. I need to go back and watch more Doom Patrol, because, I really liked the first season, and then I started the second season, and then I stopped for a minute, and then I just, have not gotten back to it. Which is a shame, because it's a great show. So I'll get back to that, too. But anyway, this is the focus of it. But anyway, like I said, for most streaming sites, this is a little rant about streaming for a minute. But, Netflix, it's basically I watched Stranger Things, I watched Cobra Kai, and then occasionally I'll watch something else on there. Like I watch Seinfeld on there, and I watch Community on there and stuff like that. Older stuff and all that. But and occasionally they'll have a movie that I'm interested in, so I'll watch that. But yeah, I probably don't watch as much Netflix as I used to. When I first got it, it was the first streaming thing I got was Netflix, and at that time, it was like, man, I hadn't seen Arrow, I hadn't seen that. You know, there was tons of shit I hadn't seen. Now it's like I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff that they have on there. I'm like, I'm gonna see this. Um, and so anyway, then of course I got HBO Max because I think we originally got it for Wonder Woman 84, which, you know, sadly that how that turned out. But which is so I like Gal Gadot and I like Patty Jenkins, but it was just something about that movie just didn't work. But it's too bad. Hopefully they can course correct it for the third one. But anyway, then I ended up liking a lot of the shows on there. And like HBO Max, I think I probably watched that the most because it's like they had Barry, they had like there's just a lot of good shows on HBO Max. So like I always grew up with HBO being a big like thing. Like, oh man, we don't have that. I can't watch that show or I can't watch that movie. You know, so it's like it's not now that I have it. It's like cool. Sometimes I watch movies on there. I haven't seen them forever. Like it's like, oh, they got Beetlejuice on here. Cool. And then yeah, Hulu's pretty good too. Hulu's got some good stuff. I've been watching The Old Man on there, and of course I watched the Andrew Garfield one that was on there, and I watched some other stuff on there. They have movies on there too, so I watched that. Is there any other streaming networks that I have? Like I said, I don't have Paramount Plus. Which the only thing on there right now I'd be interested in would be like Beavis and Butthead and South Park. So those are the only two things. Or then I'm like, my parents watch Yellowstone. I don't really. It's probably not my cup of tea, but it's a Western. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I've never seen it, but you know, my parents are old. Old people like things like that. No, I mean, I like Westerns, okay, but. And then Apple, I don't know. I feel like the only thing I've ever really given Apple money for was like an iPod and stuff and iTunes. And I don't know. It's just that the only thing I would want to see on there would be like there's a couple shows that look okay, but like Ted Lasso and stuff. But like I wanted to see that movie that God, what was it called? Holy crap! I'm like blanking on the movie's name. That won Best Picture had the hearing impaired couple in it. And the guy won best. God, what was it called? Coda. Yeah, I wanted to see that. But it's like an Apple exclusive movie. And I'm like, I've not seen it come out on DVD. So it's like, I'd like to watch this movie. Could you put it on DVD like Redbox or something? Or, you know, because it's like, I want to watch the damn thing. Because it looks pretty good. I've heard it's really good. So it's like, you know, well, like I said, a lot of times with Oscar movies, it's like hit or miss. Unless I like the actors in it. I'm usually like, you know. Like, I loved Promising Young Woman. That was really good. Here I am rambling about other things when this is a Miss Marvel review. This is how things work in Adam's world. I ramble about other things than I go to about it. So anyway, I'll wrap it up. But anyway, but that's just with Oscar movies. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to watch it. Yeah, like maybe I'll see it eventually, or you know. But it's like it's never anything on. But like every once in a while, a movie comes out that gets nominated, or gets awards, or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I really like that, you know. Anyway, let's talk about Miss Marvel, guys. Focusing on it. Now, I'll fully admit, coming into it, I had never read Miss Marvel's comics. She came out around, you know, the time when I was more or less an adult. So I hadn't really, like, you know, I glance here and there at comics, you know, online sometimes. But it's been a while since I really bought. I think the last comic I bought was a Spider-Man one because I was doing stuff with this Electro Man character. And so, like, unfortunately, it was What If You Had Just One More Day? That terrible storyline where he gives up his marriage to say Aunt May to the devil. Really bad. But anyway, so I was just looking for some inspiration at the time. But no, so I never have honestly read the comics, so I don't know tons about the character. I know that she is very popular with a lot of people, and obviously with the Muslim community, which is super cool, because everybody should have someone to look up to, I feel. I said I grew up, you know, looking up to Spider-Man, so, you know, everyone should have something, I say. All about it. So what I will say about it is, like I said, I didn't know, well, does she have any big villains or anything like that? So I'm going to talk about the whole show. I'm not going to maybe go on every plot point because it's, you know, I watched it week to week, so I don't remember everything. But I'll talk about some of the pros and the cons that there were for the show. So I guess I'll start with the pros because I think we should start off positively and then end negatively. There might be some mixed things in there too, but so positively, let me just say as much. As far as the cast goes, I think everybody played their roles well. I think the girl playing Miss Marvel is well cast. I think she's got the right energy. Uh, she's got a lot of enthusiasm and really, she's fun. She's funny too. So it's like, but she has that kind of teenager, kind of like, how a teenager would act. Um, so I like her. I like Bruno. I like, like I said, I like her family. The dad's really cute and the mom's fun, and the brother's cool, so it's like, and when I say the dad's cute, I don't mean like, oh, he's sexy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But no, he's funny. I like, but like I said, and their friends are fine. I think overall the acting is pretty good. So I can't really, there was no one in there and I'm just like, oh God, they were horrible. It was just like, all I gotta say though, one of the antagonists, they basically like, they bring back Damage from like, if you remember the first Spider-Man, there was Damage was kind of there, and I think they popped up here and there and other things, and they had this one agent, and nothing against the actress herself, but like, man, they talk about horrible haircuts, because I mean, she's already got kind of like a bit of a, I don't want to describe her face badly, but like, her face is a little worn, like anybody could be as you age. But like, she's got the short hair, and then she's practically got a mullet in the back, this big red mullet. And I'm just like, I feel sorry for this woman, because it's like this mullet is very distracting to me. It's just like, oh my God. So anyway, that was one thing. But it wasn't anything to do with the acting. Her acting was fine, but it was just like, it's so distracting. I'm like, oh my God, cut that fucking hair. That hair is terrible. Why did they make you have this haircut? Unless maybe it's just a choice. I don't know. If it was a choice, hey, that's cool. Actors make choices. So yeah, that was good. I thought there was some good, especially in the first couple things. She was very like, there was very Spider-Man-esque-ness to it in terms of like her fangirling out about heroes and then just figuring out when she has powers and stuff like that. And also what I liked too in the beginning is that like she would still, as she was learning her powers, she would still kind of fail here and there. Which is a refreshing thing, because there's so much of the stuff where like, and whether it's sometimes in Star Wars or like other like CW shows where it's just like, especially with a female character, I've noticed where it's just like, I'm just absolutely awesome at everything and I just master my powers instantly and make no mistakes, and that's just like, to me that's a boring character, and I think that was refreshing, and that she would, be making mistakes, because she's still a teenager, and teenagers make mistakes. Trust me, I was a teenager, I made lots of dumb mistakes. Very, very many dumb mistakes, which I'll go into in another Reflections thing sometime. Very many mistakes. But yeah, so there was this one scene where she rescues this kid, and I'm just like, in general, she's a hero, so I'm glad she saved him. But this kid goes up to the top of this tower and leans out this big ass tower and leans out the window trying to take a fucking selfie. And I'm like, kid, you deserve to fucking fall out that thing and crash because you're fucking stupid. And I'm not trying to say anything against kids, but it's like, why are you so stupid? It's like that in the first Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi one, where the balloon is falling and the kid just stands there like, oh, and he's like, get out of the way, kid. I'm like, yes, get the fuck out of the way. Jesus Christ, come on. So yeah, that was kind of like, okay, that kid is stupid. But anyway, what else is there? So they also introduced the, what were they called? Oh my God. Not Transcendence. They were like Clandestines. They were these other like people from this other world. She kept seeing flashes of them. And so I guess they were from a different dimension or something like that. And they were trying to find their way home or whatever. And at first they kind of start off being kind of like, fellow heroes. But then you find out they're really just trying to get her. She has this power ring, essentially. This ancient ring that her grandmother had. Or her great-grandmother. I think it was her grandmother. No, her great-grandmother, because her grandmother was in the show. So, yeah. And so it was kind of like, it basically brought the power out of her, I guess, is how it worked out. So they're trying to get it so they can open their world up and get back to their home world. And well, she doesn't want to give it up, and so that leads to them kind of being, I wouldn't say full-on villains, but definitely antagonistic. Um, and they did some okay stuff. I thought there was some decent fight scenes. I'd say with the third or fourth episode, like they have her go to Pakistan to see her grandmother, and her mom goes too. So, but it was weird how like they got them there, and it was cool to see the culture and stuff like that. And I did enjoy the stuff on the partition and stuff of India because I really didn't know much about that, and what they went through and stuff like that with the British and all that. So it's interesting to learn a history lesson. Um, but like she has this fight with this guy called the Red, he's part of the Red Daggers and all that. And by this point, she's practically mastered like all of her skills, and so it's just like, okay, well, when did that jump happen? Um, did she just practice a bunch on her spare time or something? Yeah, I mean, I guess but it's like I hate when like people learn a skill too quickly, because like I said, I like that she failed, but like it was like almost like instantly she was excellent at it again, and it was just like, okay, where was the training? I mean, maybe she worked with the clandestines a little bit. I don't know. Some of the master powers, but I would like to have seen that. Like, show her training a little bit. I don't mind a little bit of training. It can be a training montage if you want, if you want to jump ahead in the story, that's totally fine. Um, but yeah, it just felt interesting because the grandmother go there and it's like, what was the point of the mother going there? Like, it was just like, why are you coming? Like, I can understand her wanting Kamala to come because, she had this connection. Obviously, her grandmother or her mother, it's got the same power and stuff like that. So it made sense, but it's like, why did the mom come? I guess just to, accompany her, I guess. Um, but it was never really explained, like, why'd you invite the mom? Just to bond, I guess? I don't know. So anyway, as time goes on, the clandestines got arrested by Damage, but then they escape, of course, because they have powers, so, Damage is kind of inferior and stupid. Um, and, yeah, so eventually they power. They're still chasing after Kamala, and then Kamala ends up back in the past during the partition, and meets her grandmother and stuff like that, and gives and then figures out her powers a little bit more, and what she's supposed to do and all that stuff, and then she pots back up, and then the clandestines get a hold of it, and then they open this barrier that's supposed to go to the world, but like the one woman tries to go through it, and basically just turns her to skull and bones, and then the main clandestine woman, I forget what her name was, but she's like, oh, I do this for my son. I do this for my son who I left behind. I left him behind. I'm a horrible mother, but I will make sure he has my power. So, like, she tries to go through it thinking that she can make it through, and then of course she also turns to skull and bones, and her powers end up going to her son, who is kind of the romantic interest. It's funny though because you feel kind of bad for Bruno because he obviously has a crush on Kamala this whole time. And you're like, oh, poor Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. For those of you who like Encanto, which is a good movie. But yeah, I think he would. But I can understand because he auditioned apparently for Peter Parker, and I can totally see it. Like I can tell he has a little bit of a Tom Holland quality to him. But he's likable. And then her other friend, oh God, what's her name? See, I should remember these names. I should have written this down. Come on, Adam, research. But anyway, I know there's this one storyline where she's trying to be like, I think leader of the mosque or something like that, and being a woman, it's a big deal and all that. And I remember I was on to watch one episode of it when we were on vacation, just because I wanted to keep watching it, and like, even she's just like, can we get back to the main story? I don't give a shit about this. And I kind of felt the same way, and it wasn't anything against the actress or the character, but it was just like, can we get back to the main plot here? Does this have anything to do with much? Or it felt like filler to me, just to give the actress something to do, which I'm like, okay, but you could give her something better to do. Then it's not that you can't include the mosque and things like that. I think that's important for the culture, but it just felt kind of there, and they never really went back to it. It's just like, I guess suddenly she was just in charge. That was a problem, I would say, in terms of some negatives, is some of the writing was not helping the actors. It felt like the pacing, it felt like you'd have 20 minutes go by in the episode and barely anything had happened. And it's not like we need like a boom, 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 action, action, action. But like the pacing it didn't feel like it was moving very fast. Like it'd be like, well, we're talking about this and we're talking about that. And it's just like, okay, is something going to happen with the clandestines? Is something, it's like, are we going to have a full-on villain? And so anyway, we get to after that whole thing happens, she goes back. Her mom sees that she has powers, and then she reveals it to her family, who already had figured it out, or basically already knew. And so they're excited and concerned about her. And then her mom gives her her full on costume, which the costume looked really cool and comic accurate. Um, and then she goes to help the other guy. God, what was his name? See, names, Adam, names. Write these things. I remember Bruno just because of the Bruno song, but. Uh, yeah, but like she goes to help him because he's got the powers and he's trying to figure it out and he's dumping things over and he's starting to get a little bit raged out too, and so they have this big showdown at the high school with Damage and her brother and Bruno and the other and her two women friends are there. This girl named Zoe who was filming the TikTok thing, and so anyway. They have a big showdown. There's softballs thrown out. They're just trying to distract the agents, and agents basically look like idiots. And but they do eventually catch everybody, and then basically they go outside, and then he starts shooting stuff at them, and then the one lady tries to shoot him, and then like this big weapon that she pulls out, and this like knocks down the powers and breaks the crystal thing that she's shooting out, and then but she eventually gets him to escape, and I guess the Red Daggers are gonna help him. And then, but yeah, then she basically like is able to go, and then everybody likes her, and everybody stands by her. All the community comes together, which was cool. I like that it was also like you had like obviously her family and friends standing by her, but you also had like it wasn't like it was just the entire Muslim community standing. They were like cops standing in front of Damage and white cops too. So it wasn't like it was just somewhat. It wasn't just like just the Muslim community is here. It was cool. There was a community coming together. Like it was very much like Spider-Man, when it's like that moment is just like you got to mess with him, you mess with all of us. Or the people on the train, you got to go through me. So I liked that. I thought that was cool, because it showed kind of a community coming together to say, hey, this is our hero. She's saving the day. And so her dad ends up letting her know about her name and that it means like a Marvel, and so Miss Marvel. So that's kind of how she gets her name. And then let's see what else happens. Oh, there's one little drop here. This was cute. Now, obviously, the one thing they didn't do was they dropped her whole like connection to the Inhumans, mainly because I think Kevin Feige just does not give a shit about the Inhumans at all. And obviously, from that TV show, can you blame him? But like, so he kind of drops. Bruno says, "I was doing some stuff with your DNA, and it looks like some kind of mutation." And then they subtly play the X-Men cartoon theme from the '90s. It's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. They're gonna make her a mutant instead of it Inhuman. So that's cool. Then there was a mid-credit scene, and basically like her bracelet starts glowing, and then like she crashes through the wall, and then suddenly she's Brie Larson. It's just like, okay, so there's kind of a dimension switching thing going on there. And honestly, I have to say this, and this is not a knock on Brie Larson, but it was the most animated I'd seen Brie Larson in that role. Because she's like, what? It was like the most animated I'd seen her in that role. And honestly, if you watch her YouTube channel, she's very animated on there, and it's like her old interviews on like talk shows. Because, like, it feels like once she won an Oscar, it felt like she had to kind of put on this kind of, like, serious face a lot in interviews. And instead of just kind of doing her natural nerdy personality. Because she's a big nerd. She's into, like, video games and things like that. So it's like, watching her YouTube channel helped me kind of like, okay, she's not that bad. Because at first I'm like, oh, what's this woman's problem? But, like, she's actually not that bad. And she's not a bad actress by any means. I think it was just like the way she was presented in Captain Marvel was just kind of like, okay, well, she had her moments, but it was all right, whatever. I'm looking forward to the Marvels. I think it's going to be fun. I think the director who directed the Candyman remake or follow-up is a capable director. I liked a lot. I mean, I liked everything about that movie, but I will say that I liked a lot of what she did. And I feel like with the Marvels, I think she can have, whereas that one had some pain to it because of obviously things in the black community and stuff like that. This one, I feel like she can have fun. And from the way that ended, I think it's going to be a very fun movie. So I am actually looking forward to that one. I think that'll be pretty good. I think I'm more worried about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, honestly. Because I'll be honest, without Chadwick Boseman, it's going to be a very emotional movie. Because I really liked him as an actor, and I really liked him in the role, and so for him to not be there, and then there's the whole anti-vax stuff that Shuri, the actress of Shuri, did, and just like I don't want to see you now, you or the fucking Wasp now. I'm just like, whatever you think about that, I'm just like the pandemic killed a lot of freaking people. It's still freaking going too. There are more freaking variants out there. I freaking had it. So when I hear these people like, oh, I'm not getting the, it's just like, fuck you. And no, excuse my language, but like, just like, it's not. It's a freaking shot. It's like, good God. It's like, I can understand if it was like everyone who got that shot just dropped dead or something, or got really sick or super sick. But like that's not the case. And like it was like the way she was kind of referring to it from what I saw was almost like, and I can't remember. I'm not gonna put words into people's mouths, but like it felt like it was like, oh well, because of what they did with the Tuskegee experiments, and I'm like, well, this isn't then. Everybody. This isn't like it was just black people getting this, or the African American community getting the vaccine. Like lots of people were getting it, like of all races and all genders and all that stuff. So it's not like they put something different in your. So anyways, between her and Kyrie Irving and his bullshit being a martyr. He's a martyr who makes millions of fucking dollars. Yeah, such a martyr. Oh, you're so put out. So yeah, you only won a championship because LeBron was on your team. Anyway, boom, mic drop. Anyway, sorry for the little rant there. Just wanted to say that. But and I don't know. Plus they changed the thing with Namor being like Aztec or something. What the fuck? So I don't know. I'm sure it'll still be a good movie. I'll still go and see it. But it has me a little worried. I just hope that they prop up what's his freaking name? Winston Duke's character. Oh goddamn! It's like on the tip of my tongue. It's like Mabaku. Mabaku. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because he's awesome. Like let him have the Black Panther thing. Like him. Let's just do that. Sure, he can still be the science thing like she was doing before. And I'm not saying she can't be in the suit. They're obviously going to do that. But like I don't know, I'm more for him. Let's do this thing, So anyway, yeah. So that, yeah, overall, in terms of negatives, like I said, it was basically just the pacing, some of the writing, and lack of villain. I feel like when you do these shows, like, let's see, if you were to go through all the shows, WandaVision basically had, Agatha was basically the villain, more or less. And then Falcon Winter Soldier, you had, that was a Carly Montague. Oh my God, what a terrible villain. That show really needed like 9 episodes instead of 6. But regardless, you should have just stuck with like John Walker as the antagonist, and like that would have probably been fine. But you at least had an established villain there. With Loki, it was kind of like, they were dealing with different, variants, and the variants inside of themselves was kind of a, villain, and you also had the Kang popping up there. So it was like there were several, and Loki himself was technically a villain. So it's like there's that was a very different type of show. Hawkeye had Kingpin and a couple of the other characters that were involved in that. But was there anything else between that? Or was Miss Marvel next? Oh, Moon Knight, yes. Moon Knight had Ethan Hawke's character. So, I mean, this film just didn't really have much of a villain. The Clandestines were sort of villain, and then you had Damage. It's just boring, like, government agents. It's just not really, it's not even about them being white or nothing like that. I don't really, you can have a white villain. I don't care about that. But, like, make his villainy about something more interesting than, we're just the government and we're trying to control your powers. It's like, make them interesting at least. But anyway, yeah, overall, I think it was a solid watch. It's not my favorite Marvel show, but I like where the character is going. I think the Marvels will be pretty fun. I like the actress playing Kamala Khan, and her supporting cast was good. So, like, overall, it's a pretty good show. But just be understanding if you go to watch it that, yeah, there is a lot of pacing issues. And if you're looking for, like, a full-on non-stop superhero thing, you're not going to get it the whole time, but you will. What you do get is pretty fun, and there's some good scenes and stuff like that. The last episode does fly by pretty quick. I do feel like it goes right into it, It doesn't have a lot of downtime for other stuff. So I felt like they saved a lot of their energy for the last episode and the first episode. Everything else after that was kind of like it would pace really weird. But like I said, there were still some interesting things about the culture and stuff like that in there, which I think is important for people to learn. And I was watching, just to wrap up, I was watching this group, I think they're called Echo Media Group. These two black guys and Asian girl. And they do these reviews and stuff like that. They're diehard Marvel fans like me. And they had a good point they were making on their video for Miss Marvel. It's like, he says, we see comments, we read these comments all the time. He says, if you come in and say, some of the writing didn't work for me, or this story didn't work for me, or things like legitimate criticisms like I'm making here are totally valid and fine. If you just didn't like it, you just didn't like it. And that's fair, whatever you've done, some stuff, lots of people don't like superhero stuff at all, and that's fine. There's stuff I don't really like either, but like I could give a shit about The Office. I've never liked it. I didn't think it was funny. It just felt like mean-spirited humor. It felt like British humor being done Americanized, and it just didn't work for me. But that's fine. I know a lot of people love The Office. That's fine. A lot of people hate Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld. I watch it all the time. I can go back and watch it over and over again. I love Cheers. I love Three's Company. And you know what? A lot of people will say, oh, it's dated. Well, yeah, of course. It was made in the 80s. Of course it's dated. Just like things in the 50s were dated. Things in the 90s are dated. That doesn't mean you can't still enjoy it if you enjoyed watching it before. You might watch back with, different nostalgic glasses, but, I think at the end of the day, enjoy what you enjoy. And that's what they were trying to say. Just let people enjoy things. If you absolutely hated the show, okay, that's fine. Or you just couldn't get into it, fair. But I think, unvalid criticisms are, oh, I don't want to watch this because it's some Muslim girl, or I don't want to watch this because it's a woman, or a woman, as these idiots like to say. I saw one for Stranger Things, and it was just like, oh, a woman saving a woman. I'm like, oh my God, get a life. That woman thing is it's so lame. You're not cool. You're stupid. You're lame. I'm sorry that no woman has touched your willy, and that you probably, are just a loser. But, it's just shut up. No one wants to hear your shit. Just shut up. It's I understand criticizing, how a character is portrayed, or how, how a character is written sometimes, or, the Mary Sue argument sometimes. But, criticize the writing. But don't go and bully the actors online, because what the fuck? You're an asshole if you do that. Don't bully people at all. Don't bully the writers even. If you don't enjoy it, that's fine. There's some bad writers out there. I'll fully admit that. And they've gotten an opportunity, and great for them. But there's times I'll watch it oh, why did they write it that way? So I would say, that just be nice to each other, guys. There's so much shit in this world of just cruelty and horrible things. Just be nice to each other, especially when it's coming to watching entertainment. We all got so wrapped up. You want to go back to that Ghostbusters 2016 thing? We all got so wrapped up in that shit, and it became and Sony used it to their advantage too. It was just oh, you hate women, and it's and that wasn't. And the problem is that there was anyone who did criticize it was then, and then the same problem with Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I loved, but there were people who said if you didn't like it, you're not a real fan. It's what's this real fan shit? Because you watched it? Well, yeah, so did I. So did a lot of people. That doesn't make it unless you actually made the property, it ain't fucking yours. So shut the fuck up. This whole stole my childhood. Can you still watch the movie? Yes, you can. Now, do I think that every movie should be remade? No, I do not. I don't think you can do it justice. I don't think that, certain movies you just can't touch, I think. Doesn't mean that that's going to stop Hollywood from doing that because they've run out of ideas, but I think that at the same time, I'll just go watch the original on DVD. I have it on DVD. It's whatever. I mean, I know they're doing another version of the thing. I'm just I'll just watch the John Carpenter version or the original from the 50s, and I'm good. It's I can watch that over and over again. It's a great movie with great acting, great performances. It's creepy. It's great. Music is great. So it's that's a fantastic movie. Definitely check out John Carpenter's The Thing. It's great. If you have never seen it, it's awesome. Anyway, Miss Marvel, pretty good watch. not my favorite, but still, there's potential with this character, and I think they will do really well. So this has been my Miss Marvel review, guys, and a little bit of ranting here and there. I hope you enjoyed it. Me and Anna are going to go see Thor: Love and Thunder today. I still have to go buy those tickets real quick. After I get off here, I'm buying those tickets. Then I'm going to clean. And I'm going to shut up and stop talking on camera. We are going to probably do some skits this week for Adam and Anna, so go to that channel and check those out. I don't know if we're doing it today or tomorrow, but we will be doing something because we haven't done anything for a couple weeks, and we need to do something. Probably just some shorts, just some quick ones. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Just want to do something a little differently today as opposed to doing my rambling about high school and, everything else. I'm still going to do that, though, because I like to talk, and you're going to listen. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. Maybe me and Anna will do a Thor and Love and Thunder review later, so that'll be cool. Looking forward to it, and we'll see. I'll do a Moon Knight, talk about Moon Knight sometime, too. And maybe I'll actually watch The Eternals so I can talk about it. Cool, guys. I'm going to try to do more movie reviews and things like that, fun things like that, too, so it's not just me rambling on. So cool. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like and subscribe, and we got a show coming up for Turbo Turkey soon. Sketch Off coming up soon. Just a little quick plug. That'll be on the 24th. The Jewel Box, 7 p.m. See the turkeys face each other. It'll be fun. Cool. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night.